Back now on the Pulse, looking at all things people, power, and politics. Tonight, we're looking at another key demographic in this election, the Hispanic vote. Joining us tonight, Corinne Martinez and Jose Aliaga. Both of them voted for President-elect Trump, and we thank you both for joining us here today.
Thank you for having us.
It's good to see you both. So here we go. You kind of take a look at what happened if you audit the votes and you say, hey, how did Hispanic Americans, Latino Americans, how did they end up voting? And we found that more than 40%, it seemed, voted for Donald Trump. As a woman and a Hispanic woman, Corinne, why did you decide to vote for President-elect Trump?
I decided to vote for President-elect Donald Trump because I think he offered a lot of common sense solutions to problems that were concerning to me. And I felt that his opponent didn't necessarily campaign on those issues. I think she focused more on having a good time or, falsely saying that I should be afraid of Trump because my reproductive rights are at risk. And I just don't think those are issues that are concerning to me at this moment. I think immigration is a big thing, and being a second-generation immigrant, America was built on immigration, but we need to do it the right way. There's a checks and balance, and there's an order, and there's a process for coming into our country.
When Kamala Harris first came in after Joe Biden dropped out, were you considering her at all, or were you automatically going towards Trump?
I was automatically going towards Trump. Being female, I would love to see a female president one day. I think that would be great for our country, but it needs to be the right candidate. And I don't think Kamala was the right candidate for this election.
Jose, talk to us a little bit about how you made this decision to vote for President-elect Donald Trump. And by the way, thank you for coming on the show, because to talk about this topic, a lot of people say, hey, my politics are private. We don't ask people the question. But for you to come out and kind of help us uncover some of the reasons. And by the way, Hispanic people, Latino people are not a monolith. You don't speak for everybody. But it is interesting to hear your perspective. So why did you vote for Trump?
Sure. Well, first of all, for me, I can see two sides of the administration. It was easy to compare. You see what Trump did from 2016 to 2020 and what happened in 2020 to 24. And Trump nailed it when he says, are you right off now than 4 years ago? Right there, I see how the economy was 4 years ago. Gas prices was under $2. People can afford to buy a house. It's easy to borrow money because the interest rate was under 2%. You can borrow money very quick and buy a house. And people that were selling houses, they can get 5 to 10 offers, and they can get the highest offer and sell their house. The economy doing well, real estate, economy, gas prices down. And when Biden took office, gas prices went up, transportation went up. And what happened is basic food went up, like milk, eggs, everything went up and affecting people. We can be Hispanics, Afro-Americans, everybody, but when the economy is not doing well, affect everybody. And we can compare two different administrations. It was easy to decide for me who was better for us.
And by the way, we are going to talk about the border in a second, but since we're talking about money, I want to kind of talk to you a little bit about that, the kitchen table economics that the Harris camp may have missed in many ways. And even if you're not part of the lower income population, so many people in all the groups were saying, what about us? Do you think the Harris camp didn't concentrate enough on those who are really struggling to make ends meet?
Of course, and it's difficult to believe her promises because she was in power for 4 years. She keeps saying, when I get elected, I'm going to do this. But she's already elected. She's a vice president.
But the vice president doesn't have the same powers as a president.
But serve in the Senate and have influence with her colleagues in the Senate to be able to put a good piece of legislation right there to influence. Usually the vice president is not serving, but it's a next for the president to be in the Congress recommending some ideas in the Senate, because believe it or not, when we have a Senate, sometimes a 50-50, the vice president can break the vote or recommend some ideas. And she was a former senator, which she understands 100% how the Senate works.
Let's talk about the humanity involving the border crisis. Of course, you have so many people. Look, we had Rebecca Kiesling on this show but a few days ago. Her 2 sons died of fentanyl poisoning because of Percocet that had been poisoned by it, and that came from the border. She is acutely aware of how bad it is to sit back and to watch your children leave your world because of something so terrible. The border crisis, what's the right way to go about beginning to fix that problem, would you say? In your mind, as you look at different people with different policies, obviously Trump had his ideas in 2016 to build a wall. You believe that all of that needs to be done, yes?
I wouldn't necessarily say a physical wall, but I think we need to just put more strength and people down there to control the border. Too many people are getting over, like you said, children are dying, and it just needs to be more controlled. Does it necessarily need to be a physical wall? Maybe not. But we need to have more control at the border, definitely.
And when you take a look at Kamala Harris, even if she wasn't exactly the czar, as some people argue that point, we missed the point in arguing that point. The point is she was somewhat responsible, right, for looking for the root causes of why this was all happening. What did you wish for from the Harris camp, more so than what you got?
I honestly can't tell you exactly what I wished for, because I feel like the entire Harris campaign, like Jose said, they kept making promises. They weren't really necessarily telling us what they were going to do. Like, you know, when I'm president, I will fix the prices of food, but, you know, it's not a snap of a finger and it doesn't automatically get turned back. I didn't feel like they offer a lot of solutions to any of their claims throughout the campaign.
Jose, when you look at Tom Homan, who is going to be really the border czar here, and you study a little bit about what he's said, what he's talked about, is there anything that he has said that concerns you about how he's going to execute some of the things?
No, if you see, as Hispanic everybody, we're going to protect our borders because it's true that we have so many criminals, and Trump has to pick someone with stuff who is going to deliver results. People vote for Donald Trump not for a nice speech. American people want results, and I think he has to bring somebody tough. Trump was already president, so he has experience of managing people. He's picking smart people and people that deliver results and is loyal to him. That's why he's picking these people, and I think he's going to deliver the problem. Now, I want to make a quick comment about, you have to understand also that the borders, the problem, the crisis with the borders is we have many dictators in South America, like Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela. He opened all the jails, many jails, not just one jail. We talk several counties, several states, and all these criminals told him, hey, go to America. A lot of mental institutions were open in those areas, and they told him, Maduro told him, go to America. I believe also some of these people really come here because they want to reach to the American dream. It's no other American dream. The only American dream is in America. It's not China dream. It's the American dream. That's why everybody wants to come.
So should the responsibility also be in the hands of these other governments out there that are allowing people out of these prisons, as you say, and allowing them to come over the border? Or is it just sealing up the border, or is it both?
I think also both, but the government, Biden didn't demonstrate that he was a good negotiator to negotiate with the other presidents. He just didn't care because he made a statement when he got elected, hey, everybody's welcome. You cannot say that. Somalia is the only country that doesn't protect their borders. They just allow everybody to come, but Somalia is not run for a government. And the United States is the number one in the world, and we cannot just open the borders to everybody. We need to have a control and check who is coming here.
And so how do you do it? That's the big question that so many people are talking about right now. And when we come back on the other side of the break, we're continuing our conversation with our esteemed panel about the right way to do this when it comes to separating families, not separating families. What do you do in that situation? What Tom Homan says, what our guests think when we come back here on The Pulse. And welcome back to The Pulse. You know the mission. We're talking people, power, and politics. We're continuing our conversation with Corinne Martinez and Jose Aliaga, two Latino voters who supported President-elect Donald Trump. And an interesting conversation, and one that we're so grateful that both of you joined here today, because it's an important one. Yes, look, we can't just keep looking at the past, but we got to look at the future. And so let's talk about the future. When it comes to how Mr. Tom Homan, the new border czar, will be executing his duties as border czar, what are the things that you want to see right away? We'll begin with you, Jose. What does this man have to do to secure the problem that has been let go for so many years? Well,
I will continue with the wall, personally, and then starting working also with the State Department to make sure that our embassies have a good registration for consulates, to make sure that people that want to come in the right way go and apply for the visa. Screen how we done it in the right way. They come, apply for the visa, and they can come work visa, tourist visa, student visa, and help them, but have our services more efficient to that people, make more awareness, so people don't have to come to the borders, number one. Number two, get the wall, make sure they prevent more criminals coming in, but this is what we don't want. Utilize technology, work with the suggestion for the experts in the border, because they have been suggesting many things they have been putting it aside for political reasons. And I think with those measures, we can secure our borders, because right now we cannot let it just open borders. That doesn't make sense to me.
So Mr. Trump had said when he was president that we're going to build a wall. They ended up building something like 2% of it because it takes time. But then he said he would have Mexico pay for it. That didn't happen. Do you think it's going to happen this time around?
Well, he showed us many times that he has a special skills to negotiate with presidents. And then he doesn't take the plan yet because he always says, we need to be smart. I'm not going to tell my opponent the plan. But I'm pretty sure if he says he's going to do something, he's done it before, I think he's going to do it again.
Let's talk about Mr. Homan. He's been asked a few times, Corinne, about whether or not they're going to separate families. How do you take, a father out of this equation who's living here and undocumented and deport that person? What about the children now? They're getting their father ripped away. The humane way to do it, Mr. Homan said, well, we'll deport the whole family. But the issue there is that some of these children are born in America, so we're deporting Americans. What's the right way to do it in your mind? I know that you're not a border expert, but just as a taxpaying citizen who cares deeply about this problem, how do you do that?
I think there's not really a clear-cut answer to this because, of course, I mean, there's so many studies out there. Children are supposed to be with their families, and although we might have, a great foster system, at the end of the day, they belong with their parents if they're able to. However, I mean, their parents are people that raised them, even if they were born in America. I think maybe, deporting the entire family and having them come back legally would be the best way to go about this.
Jose,
even if they're going back to their home country, at least they're with their parents.
You also then would believe that there's a humane way to do this, separating children from their families. Is that the right way to go?
No, obviously no. I concur with Mr. Martinez, that even the SAR even state that we don't need to separate. We can, in the safer manner, to return their home and tell them they need to apply in the right way. And which is very nice, because if you go to borders like Mexico, other borders, they don't treat you nice. They will arrest you, they throw you in awful conditions of jail. And you don't have those privileges in America. We respect all the rights for individuals, but we want to secure our borders. It's not about good people that want to come here. We need to secure our borders because we have real criminals, cartels. They have take control in some other areas in the borders. That cannot happen. That's what this issue is about. We have illegal weapons coming here, and then we saw information that we have in the past terrorists that try to come here to do damage to many of us.
And it's not as though you're saying there's a proportion.
Right.
Even if there's a small number, that's a problem. But the majority of people coming in are innocent people who are coming here for the right reasons. In other words, maybe perhaps not the right way, but the right reason. Let me ask you this, though. When it comes to the workforce in America right now, so many undocumented workers currently fill jobs that other Americans don't want to do. What happens to the economy when you decide to take that large of a population and deport them?
Well, I think Trump is going to take very seriously and put together with good advisors a comprehensive immigration reform. It has been done by Ronald Reagan in the 80s, where Ronald Reagan put a comprehensive package approved by bipartisan by the Congress, and that was allowed them to have good people to stay here and work, as long as they show they are good people. And I think that my personal idea will be something like that. There's something already done it before, anyways.
Corinne, we only have 10 seconds left. You're hopeful for this being done the right way, then?
Yes, I am.
Well, Corinne, I thank you for your time here today on the show. It's very nice to see you. Thank you, Jose. Sure. Good to see you as well. That is the pulse for tonight. It's a conversation that will continue, of course. And if you have any burning political questions you want us to answer on the show, maybe there's a fact check that you'd like us to do, just scan that QR code on your screen, and that goes right to my email box, right to my phone. Send me an email. Battleground with SC Cup is next. I'm Roop Raj. Have a good night.